Welcome back. We might call this one. iMANiAC. This is the diary of my. Well, I'll let you figure out the craziness and how to define it as you go along. But anyway, I'm going to tell you the story of a man who went, well, from by all accounts, normal in your round to wacko out of it. But anyway, so we go back to the time of March 1st, 2005. I was an ordinary man, retired for 5 years. I had short hair. I was living in a retirement community. The only thing, well, it's not out of the ordinary. My wife had started divorce, and we were living in a house, selling a house, and waiting for a long, long divorce that, well, I'm not going to go into the cost of lawyers and the crimes of that. Anyway, the point is that other than that, I was pretty much a normal guy, and for a year and a half, right around the time, 2 weeks before I found out I was getting a divorce, I started writing the story, the worst story I could imagine of future Earth, way beyond what some could imagine right now. But anyway, that's not the point. It's not the point. September 11, 2011, although that was a long time ago. But anyway, I started in July 2003. But I was still, other than trying to invent the future to try to stop the terrorism that I was starting in a story, which is a fictional story, other than that, I think I was a normal person trying to stretch out and do something on the side, because I just built a house, and it was a beautiful house, and I was selling it. But the point was, I was looking for something else to do besides golf. Anyway, that is not the point. The point is, so March 1st, I started brainstorming. I was thinking about reinventing, well, all kinds of things. And I brainstormed, and after a while I said, you know what, we could go a lot faster. Rather than try to start from scratch with a new technology company, or take my ideas and apply them to existing companies. In fact, rather than fight it out with companies, it would be much better off to streamline the whole process and buy every technology company on the planet, from General Electric to Westinghouse to Apple to Google to all the Motorola, of course. Along the 11 days, I started in 6 days, starting to buy the companies by email. They should respond when they get a 50% premium. But of course, they could send them being a crazy guy. But if I was right, and not a crazy guy, well, then it sets up a whole new reality, and that's part of what caused my insanity. So, I finally, after buying a tower, well, it must have been 11 Motorola Razors when they were charging like $550, $600 a pop. Anyway, I sent an offer to Arnold to buy California. And of course, that was sort of way ahead of my plan, because my plan was just, okay, yes, when we own the world, we make all these governments are cancelled as they know them. No politics, no lawyers, they become capitalist states. We take over all the government enterprise from the enterprise of the technology enterprise that owns all the enterprises of the planet. Anyway, the next day, March 12th, I checked into my reserve where I had $1 million lot, and I told him I wanted a secure and safe place to talk to Arnold, and no, I didn't get Arnold. I got Sheriff Hightower, and I probably could have ducked my way out, except I thought if a sheriff picked me up, I'd finally get that lawyer. Oh my God, was I disillusioned then, or delusioned then? Anyway, maybe I'm not illusioned, and your lawyers are perfectly sane, and it's a perfectly sane practice you practice in Earth. Anyway, that might be the point, but anyway, let's get back to my insanity. So, the thing is, I figured out, I think, that the perfect plan was to buy the Earth and roll it on back, leverage buyout, and then give it to the people. And they would own stock in the whole Earth, and we'd spread it all over the Earth, and we'd have all the people getting rich and richer. But anyway, that is the point, but that's not the point, the point of that story. And anyway, so I found out about a 5150. I was a month away from being 51, and I found out a 5150 before I became a Hawk 51. Anyway, that's longer into the story. So, I found 72 hours of sleep, They jam needles up my ass. I don't know if you've ever been in a 5150, but they can just pick you up for thinking you're crazy, and all of a sudden you're locked up for 72 hours minimum. Anyway, that's what I got. And then the guy told me, an older gentleman, said stop dreaming. And so, when it came out, I said, well, I gotta slow down because I have a plan to buy the world, and if I'm gonna try to buy the world, I can't go run around drinking too much. And so, by the way, I never used jewelry back then. I never used it all my life. But anyway, that's not the point. So, and I got out, and then I said to myself, well, I went to a circular city, and I threw around and rolled around $100 bills. I think I passed a few out and offered to exchange and keep the 100 and keep it in my new enterprise. And eventually I hired a guy who's smart-ass guy. And then he brought a couple other guys, and I called them the Three Wise Kids, and they showed up at my door on the Ides of March. And I told them, beware the Ides of March, and remember the D word, disintermediation. Disintermediation. I could disintermediate in my mind every business model on the planet with a better plan. Because see, the simple thing was, let's say we could take our technological progress and by a better structure, by owning a better part of our action together, we can accelerate our advancement by an order or 2 orders of magnitude. And that's a lot, because an order is 10 times, and 2 orders is 100 times. And if you get to 2 orders, 3 orders around the corner, and that's 1,000 times the speed of your progress. That alone changes the economics of your reality. That alone naturally changes your reality, and the speed at which we create new realities, and the speed at which we save our world. Anyway, that's a big story. Of course, that's a grandiose thought, but they said stop drinking. Nobody said I was crazy back then, but I thought maybe I'm crazy. If I'm crazy, I might be smart. If I'm that smart, well, so I started a business, and I had some of these kids and hung around, and I was brainstorming, and I bought a $50,000 read server from Steve Jobs that he couldn't even turn on for me, couldn't even get service in my area. But anyway, I sent it back, that's not the problem. Anyway, long story, my mind just didn't get, see, I knew I had the big plan, but I had to have the catalyst to make the big plan play. And so, I gave up for a little bit, sent the kids home, but I was learning, and so then, well, I got together at a wireless conference, and I was there with my friend Phil, and it came to me. The catalyst would be a people's wireless network, of secure network, owned by the people, operated by the people, profiting to the people, and a network that changes the internet as we know it, with identification and security measures that you guys just don't even have, or, well, you know how to do it, but you just can't do it. I don't know why you can't do it, but anyway, you have the Wild Wild West internet, and I was going to create a heavenly internet, an internet where we create goodness, where we go beyond Google. See, I told them about my plan for reverse IPO. Google was almost there. But if they had done my reverse IPO, that eventually became guerrilla capitalism. And if Google had gone one step beyond do no evil and said, wait the freaking hey, why not do good? What's wrong with doing good? And you know what? So many people are trying to do good around the world. You could probably get a lot of volunteers for a goodness cause, especially when it ties to making money for everybody. But that's not the point, but that's part of the point. But anyway, the point was, I then had a new idea, and I got Phil, and eventually I got a Doubting Phil and Jim, the technology guys, and they agreed to my scheme. They would limit their profits to $1 billion. That meant if I could create $100 billion overnight the size of Google, we could create like $100 billion war chest owned by the people of profits. And I had planned for those profits anyway. So I tried to get their attention. My business plan was sound. We needed to get the right kind of attention. We needed to create the right kind of viral marketing. Well, I knew my plan was viral marketing, because it said in the first principle of viral marketing, it said, give away valuable products and services for free.